good. Cool by the pool. Okay. Hey everybody, take your seats, take your seats. Take your seats. It's quite warm, I know, I do get that. When we started planning this event, it was in that cold snap of August. And so when we thought sitting inside the hangar in the afternoon, it wasn't going to be so bad. And it dawned on us yesterday that it was going to be 35 degrees today. And look, we are here, and we've got an open door and a lovely fan that's hopefully moving the air around. So just hydrate. That's all I can say. Please hydrate. And so it is a self-service bar. So there's lots of water, lots of cool drink, lots of all the good things to drink over there. And let me say welcome. Welcome to the 360 Aviation Safety Summit, powered by Pilotinsure. We are here. We are live over here, and we are live over here. Quite an exciting thing. We are live streaming this to YouTube, and we've got a couple of viewers online, so very, very good welcome and big hello to all of our viewers online. Thank you very much for joining us. If you feel like it, share the link out and get some more viewers online. We'd love to spread the gospel of safety. This is one of our major motivations of all of this stuff. Being in insurance, and we've got aircraft insurance brokers here, and we've got pilots and everyone here. I think everyone needs the gospel of safety preached as far and wide as possible. I'm involved with lots of these types of events, and I feel very honored to be here today. Thank you very much, Tamryn, for allowing us to come and populate your hangar with all of this branding and people and stuff. So very cool. Thank you very much. I'd just like to give everyone to give Tamryn a huge round of applause for just hosting this event and just being on board for us to come and do all of this. So thank you very much. So back to the motivation thing. We want to just make 100% sure that, I can. People often wonder, are we effective? Do we reach the people that we need to? Are we saying the right stuff? Is this message getting out there as well as we'd like to? And my thing is to say, you know what? If I've reached one person that makes a decision differently in the future because of something they heard in one of my safety meetings, and it saves a life or avoids an accident, then I've done my job. So that's what I hope to achieve here today. It's one of the things. And then obviously we're doubling this event up as an open day for 360 Aviation. And so we've already got some new interested pilots coming. Welcome. Thank you. Rudy, welcome as well. We know you've flown helicopters before, but we know you need to redo your license, so welcome back. And welcome to all the pilots here, and you as well. Yes? What's your name? Say again. Darren. Repeat. Darren. Welcome, Darren. So yeah, we've already got some really good interest for you guys. Today's program. Let me go through that. We're going to have Tamryn coming up next and talking about why 360 Aviation is your choice school as a helicopter flying school. And then we'll have Genevieve King. No, we're going to have, We're going to have Bradley van Merwe come up. He's going to be streamed live from Cape Town and give his story and inspiration about his journey as well. That'll be Brad. And then after Brad, we'll have a quick break just to go and hydrate and comfort and all that kind of stuff. And then we're going to also have, Jen King. Genevieve King is also a commercial helicopter pilot. and we're very excited to hear Jen's story. She's got a lot of value to add, and we just look forward to hearing from her. And then we've got Karen Matthews. Did I mention Karen already? No. Karen Matthews after her. Karen is an ATC here at Wonderboom, very highly qualified. She's actually a designated examiner for the ATCs as well. So we're going to hear about the safety aspect from the point of view of the ATC, the aircraft traffic controllers. And then following her, you'll hear from yours truly, and then we're going to have a lekker braai. Oh, and in between that, we're going to have the prize draw. So the prize draw, we're going to be giving away some really cool caps, just like this. We're going to be giving away some Pilotinsure flying socks, which are the most comfortable socks you'll ever wear. Rob knows. Who else has got a pair of flying socks from Pilotinsure? Okay, you haven't lived yet, so just so you know. And we'll be giving away a few of those. We've also got a voucher that we're going to be giving away. And then the main prize is a 30-minute intro flight in the R22. So that's going to be a really, really cool flight. Thank you very much, Tamryn, for sponsoring that. And then we've also got a year's free insurance from Vector Aviation. They've said that they will sponsor any aeroplane you want, Boeing 737, whatever you want. No, I'm joking. But thanks to Vector for joining us today. And yeah, that's it. Bathrooms are through there. Hey, they can use those. You just go through that door that says office. Bathrooms to the left. Like I said, self-service bar, and there will be burrie rolls served a little bit later. So stay hungry. All right. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome Tamryn van Staden, or Tamryn McNaughton, to come up and tell us more about 360 Aviation. Big round of applause, everybody. Okay. I need to clip this on you. Just go like that.
Thanks.
Right there.
Yep. Phew, no pressure. All right. Hi, guys. I'm Tamryn. I think what I'll do is just start off by giving you a little bit of a background in terms of who I am, where I came from, and obviously how 360 Aviation came to be. I see there's a lot of new faces here, so at least I won't be boring you with the same information. So I've been flying for a little over 20 years now. I started when I was 15 years old, nice and young. I see you all working it out quickly. I grew up right up north in a small little town called Palabora, right on the border of the Kruger National Park. So the nice thing about that was that I got exposure to aviation, to helicopters particularly, right from a very, very young age. A very well-known pilot, well at the time very well-known pilot was John Bassie. He used to come through to Palabora in his beautiful Bell 206 Jet Ranger and come and do a lot of game capture, particularly with the disease-free buffalo projects that took place in the area at the time. And so, needless to say, I was extremely excited every time old John came to town. He used to stay by us very often, so this was a nice little thing for us to get exposure to as well. And at about 15 years old, a TV program came on TV one Sunday. My father and I were watching, and it was called A Chopper is Born. And basically this TV program went about this guy that built a helicopter from scratch. Every episode just showed a little bit more progress each time until eventually the helicopter was completely built. And the last episode was where he had an instructor in the helicopter with him actually showing him how to fly. So coming from a bit of an engineering background as well, my parents had a very, very good engineering company, mechanical engineering company in Palabora at the time. This ticked every box for us, you know. Not only do we get to build the helicopters, but we possibly get to fly it afterwards too. And so needless to say, we climbed on the internet and we started doing a little bit of research. It was back in the time when internet was still dial-up, so you got things screaming in your ears. Quickly go and look what we can find. And Dad got on the phone and phoned John Bassie and said to him, well, this is what we're thinking of doing. And John said, why are you even looking? I've got the flight school, it's in Pretoria, come and do your introductory flights there, that's how you start. And we were like, wow, okay, we didn't know you had a school too. So off we went on our journey all the way from Palabora through to Pretoria. It's a very long 4.5, 5-hour journey by car. And we came and did our introductory flights here on Wonderboom Airport all those years ago. Needless to say, we were sold after that. So my dad and I did the licenses together, qualified on the same day as well, and we've never looked back since. I took it one step further and went the commercial and instructor route. Obviously, having started so young, had to wait to turn 17 to get the license, then wait to turn 18 to get the commercial and instructors. So when I turned 18, I managed to get my commercial and instructors rating as well. And that was back in the day when you could still walk into CAA with your application in the morning, hand it in, wait for 2 hours, and then walk out with your license in your hand. Those days are no longer so, but that was how it was back then. And so I walked out of CAA with my bright, shiny new commercial pilot license and instructor's rating, and on the way back to Pretoria, I got a phone call from a flight school saying, how quickly can you be here? We need you to start training now. So raced back to the airport with my nice, shiny new license and immediately started with my training. And I've been training ever since. Ended up working for that flight school for a very long time. Within 6 months of starting at the flight school, I became the chief flight instructor there. And after that, I ended up doing quite a lot of contract work up in Africa, doing aerial surveys. I did quite a lot of game capture as well. I was always out in the bush. I love the bush. So I got quite a lot of experience doing all sorts of different things operationally within the helicopter environment. And it got to a point where I decided I'd like to have my own business, have a little bit of a business brain on me, and 360 Aviation was born. In 2012, I started the business. It was really small, one-man band, yours truly, and I did everything myself over here. Push helis in and out, wash helis, refuel helis, give the lectures, do the flying, try and figure out how to do invoicing afterwards. So it was chaos. But very quickly the company grew to a point where we needed to expand, and my dear old mother came and joined the team all the way from Port Elizabeth, and still with me, thank heavens, taking over a lot of the financial and administrative aspects, so that I could focus more on the flying side of things as well. And since we've grown, we've expanded, we now have our own in-house maintenance facility as well, where we do aircraft maintenance. We do all sorts of aerial safaris as well with the helicopters. We go and tour a little bit, go and show the pilots some of the beautiful places that South Africa and even Africa have to offer. And we're still actively involved in game capture and all sorts of other things as well. So with any business, I would say the most important thing is your team. At the end of the day, I think without a good team, your business is nothing. And here at 360 Aviation, our team of people that we have working for us are really a dynamic bunch of people. Each and every single one of them really dynamic in their own. And as a whole, I think all of us have one common or thing in common, and that is that we have an extreme love for aviation. And I think that's probably one of the most important things for anybody thinking about coming into the aviation environment, especially commercially. There has to be a passion, there has to be an absolute love for it. Otherwise, you're going to end up hating it. So we all share this common interest. We love aviation, and our team also are dedicated to giving absolute customer service and satisfaction at the end of the day. And I think anybody that's had anything to do with 360 Aviation over the years will vouch for that. So not only do we have a great team of people, but we also have a great fleet of helicopters that we use as well within our flight school. You can have a look at some of the machines standing around you. We're extremely proud of the machines that we have in the facility, but even the facility itself. Our equipment and our facility, our machines, I think it speaks 1,000 words if you just have a look around you and see what it looks like. The machines are kept spotless at all times. Safety being our main concern around here. We don't take any chances with maintenance and all of those types of things. And the same goes for our facility and our equipment as well. Our instructors that we use here at 360 Aviation, all experienced pilots, having a lot to offer to the students as well, which is always great for the students to learn from. We adopt a individualized training program here at 360, so it's not just a Vos machine, if I can call it that. Each and every person coming into the doors here is an individual, and obviously we try to teach you accordingly. So that brings us on to the types of courses that we offer here as 360 as well. We have quite a wide variety of courses on offer, ranging from private pilot licenses to commercial pilot licenses, night ratings, instructor ratings, type ratings, you name it. And again, with regards to all of these courses, I think what stands out the most is the fact that our attention is focused on high standards at the end of the day. I think that's also what separates us from the guy next door, for example. We spend a lot of time nurturing our students, making sure that they don't just tick boxes at the end of the day just to get through a syllabus, but rather meet a really high standard in the industry as well. And that's also given our pilots a little bit of an upper hand once they actually qualify here at 360 Aviation. They're pretty sought after. Our pilots don't tend to struggle to get work after they've qualified, because all of the operators in the industry know the type of training that they receive here from 360. A lot of our pilots have become pretty esteemed pilots all over the world, not just within South Africa. And we pride ourselves in this, a little bit of a chip on the shoulder for us. So, I think, at the end of the day, the family type environment that you'll feel here at 360 Aviation is also a nice to have. I think that's what attracts a lot of people. We don't like the corporate environment kind of setup over here. At the end of the day, when I walk into a facility, I want to feel individual. I want to feel welcome, and I want to feel like, I'm going to get the attention that I deserve at the end of the day. And I think that's what you'll receive here at 360 Aviation. We also like to adopt a safety culture here that encourages safety thinking among not only the pilots or the students, but also among our staff. Our staff have been encouraged whenever you see something that possibly could cause damage or harm to anybody, or whatever the case may be, what do you do next? Anybody that's been involved in aviation for some time will understand there's a whole safety sort of system involved with any kind of company. So we always try to educate them as to how the safety system works and keep that safety culture alive throughout the company, within the clients as well as the staff. And I think that's also part of the reason why we're here today. So without boring you too much further, I think I should hand over to the next speakers. Before I do so, I would just also personally like to thank everybody for coming, taking the time to be here today. On behalf of 360 Aviation as well, I'd like to thank Pilotinsure for all your efforts and everything in making today happen. I think it was a huge success. I think our name is splashed everywhere on social media at the moment. Thank you very much, Dave. And thanks to all the speakers as well. Genevieve, Bernard, thanks for the sound and the video and everything. Karen, thank you for taking the time. It's a privilege having you here as well. Karen's been in the industry for a very, very, very long time. Auntie Karen, the auntie in the tower. So now you guys can put a face to the voice. And so from my side, thank you very much.
There we go. Thank you very much, Tamryn. I think you've done a fantastic job of showcasing the 360 Aviation ethos and culture, and I truly believe that it's a very strong one. And as we say, safety, 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 and individualized training. I think that's absolutely vital. So for those of you looking to sign up, I think you've come to the right person, the right place, and yeah, I'm sure there will be questions and answers as well. So any questions that you have, please direct them to Tamryn, and she will be able to answer all of your questions about how the facility works, how the process works, all that kind of stuff, all the detail that you need to be able to feel comfortable in moving forward and pursuing your life as a helicopter pilot. Because I think it's pretty life-changing when you do it. Am I right? Yes or no? Not really. Okay. No, definitely, of course. So I also just want to mention, so our next speaker is Bradley van der Merwe. Bradley is a South African pilot as well. He hails out of Cape Town. That's where he's actually moved his family back to. They were living up in Abu Dhabi for about 8 or 9 years. And Bradley was the line captain at Abu Dhabi Aviation on the 189s, the Augustas. And he's done a lot of ship-to-shore and quite some seriously VVIP charter work. It's pretty much the pinnacle of your career as a helicopter pilot to be able to fly a massive twin-turbine helicopter. The desert is an interesting place to fly, and I'm sure we're going to hear some stories from that about him. But yeah, I think to hear from Brad is an absolute privilege for all of us. So I'm just going to get him online. So if you'd like to take 5 minutes, because I can see everyone's quite thirsty, please quickly grab yourself something to drink. I'm going to get Bradley online, and then we're going to be taking a seat at exactly 5 past again. Okay, so 3, 2, 1, we're taking a break. Go get something to drink, please.
And the video is on. When everybody's ready, just let me know.
Okay.
No, I'm not live. But yeah, just like the coffee.
seats. I'm introducing Bradley van Staden. I hope you can see it okay on the screen over there. The lighting. That's Brad. Can everybody see him? Hi, Brad. And he can hear you guys and he can see you as well, so he's on Zoom. All right, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Bradley van Staden.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much, man. This is a great opportunity and an honor. I really appreciate it. And thank you to David and Tamryn and Corin and everybody for facilitating this. This is, it's quite humbling to be able to do this. So, yeah, hopefully the information I'm going to give over to you is going to be able to help you going forward with your decision making if you are new to the industry. But having listened to Tamryn, I'd say that, one of the greatest things that allows us to sort of have a common interest is basically the love, passion, and enthusiasm for aviation, because there's just so much to learn. And, being in the industry for 23 years, company that was Falcon Aviation Services are now going to Saudi Aramco, and very, very blessed and fortunate that I'm going to be getting a new helicopter onto my license, and sticking to the offshore industry and helping the oil and gas, supporting the oil and gas industry with helicopter flying. So yeah, just to give you a bit of a background, I've got about a total of about 7,400 hours helicopter and about 890 hours on fixed wing. I started my career as a fixed wing pilot, and to give you a bit of a interesting sort of, just to show you how small the aviation industry is, we all started with in a small town of Pilotinsure. My sister managed to arrange that when Haynes helicopter was there, that at a tender age of 8 years old, I could go in a helicopter flight. And I did that flight, and that same crew that was on that flight, I met up with them a couple of days ago. When I was flying the Balfour 1-2 there, that exact same crew 20 years later. So it was quite a big celebration, and I have to just say that that's basically where it all, I'd say, started. There was about 8 years after that, I had nothing really to do with aviation. Okay, about 16, I was doing homeschooling, and one of my dad's friends came through to a small town of Monalan where we relocated and took me up in a Cessna 150, and that was where the passion obviously just the bug bit me, and I basically, within about 3-4 months of that, and I started my intro flight with Leo Air with my instructor with Donnie to Blanche. Very great guy, a lot of information that he gave to me at that tender young age. And it was quite scary in the initial stages because at that young age, there's so much information to know. And I was pushing myself a little to try and know everything at once. And, you've got to just basically take it one step at a time and just let the instructor guide you. So, yes, from there then basically I would fly from 16 to about 19, about 1 to 2 hours a month to travel from Monalan to Nelspruit. That's where Leo Air was based, the whole airport in Nelspruit. And then, I managed to accumulate about 25 hours. Once matriculated in 2002, then in the year 2003 I went down to AFTRAC, which was to complete my PPL, which my dad paid for, which was quite great and a huge blessing. From there, just basically went to live back with my parents once I completed my PPL. And then I did various odd jobs. I did a lot of waitering while studying for my commercial subject. It took me about 2.5 years to get my commercial subjects and my 100 hours PIC, my night rating, and all of that on fixed wing. I would hand out leaflets. I went to my dad's furniture factory. That's where I lost my 2 fingers. I don't know if you can quite see. It's my middle finger and my ring finger. I was at the tender age of 21 with like a mincing machine, and I obviously had my fingers in the wrong place, and thankfully I can still fly, basically, with that having happened. competed in 2005, end of 2005, for my single variable pitch retractable gear commercial irons with Rand Flight Academy. And just to touch base with John Bassey, with Tamryn, her members with John Bassey, I also did quite a lot of hours with Bassey Aviation, sorry, just to backtrack a bit. So I've also got a very keen love for John Bassey and appreciation for him and his flying school, what they actually gave me as well in my road getting up to commercial. Then in 2006, I worked at a place called Interlink Airlines. It was a wonderful environment to learn the airline industry, how ground ops basically operated. I actually got a permit to drive around Johannesburg International, which was fantastic. It was a great experience as well. And anyway, but I only did about 6 months with them and decided to do my instructor's rating, which I'm very, very happy I did, because as Tamryn said, in the days when you waited for 2 hours at the civil aviation, they would basically publish and give you your license in hand. I believe it's different now. I've been out of the general aviation for about in South Africa for 12 years, so I must get myself up to speed how the civil aviation authority works now. And then walking out of the civil aviation authority with my instructor's rating in hand, with Pittsburgh, straight into Defence Flying Club with Vessel Victorious. That was a great experience. It was with this Cessna 152 Aerobat and then the Javelin aircraft. And I helped Vessel and Dave Mordia quite a bit with regard to their flying school, and then got an awesome opportunity to go down to Port Alfred to join as an instructor at 43 Air School. And that for me was where I would say my career really started picking up, and I really enjoyed how 43 had such high standards and their syllabus was so well structured. So I had to have a hell of a lot of adaptation in how to sort of approach instruction with my students, which taught me so much. Then coming out of 43 Air School, basically entering the Grahamstown Road, there was a courier sort of bus that hit me. I was driving a Chevy Spot from the right and T-boned me. And I basically lost my medical for about 6 weeks, where I was not allowed to fly. At this particular point, my spine was basically, I was concussed, so that was the main reason. And then Captain George Stewart from 43 who allowed me to come back and look at the ground. So yes, certainly. Yeah, no, not a problem. Okay. Just let me know, is that okay? Can I chat? You guys feel yummy?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Alright, so, yeah, out of 43 Air School, I was a grade 3 instructor, and I basically coming into Grahamstown Road. I was T-boned by a courier vehicle and got concussed and I lost my medical for 6 weeks. And Captain George Stewart was very instrumental in bringing me back in order to do ground school instruction, to which I'm very, very grateful for. You know, to keep the bank balance going, and you know, as you know, instruction is really it's quite time-consuming as well. You know. So anyway, when I did that, I approached 43 Air School with a business plan, and I met at Bassey Aviation, I met a gentleman by the name of Derek Pratt, and he came through to the helicopter side of 43 Air School, was the chief pilot there. So we had kinship before when I was a student, and I was with Bassey Aviation. So we became friends, and I approached him about this idea to go to Captain Steve Goodrick in order to basically give over a business plan to be an instructor cadet for the school, because they had so many contracts but not enough instructors at 43 on the helicopter side of it. And when you have 200 hours on on as a qualification on the commercial license as a fixed wing, only half of the hours are applicable that you need to bill on your helicopter side in order to be dual rated on fixed wing and helicopters. So the business plan worked very well for 43 to get me basically trained, and I paid them back over a 3-year period, and I can help instruct new contracts. So myself and the late Jennifer Lords basically started our program like 2 days after approaching school, which was fantastic. It was the right place, right time, and also a great business opportunity for them to keep the contracts going and have enough instructors to fly the total amount of students that they were bringing in at the time. So I was very fortunate because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here today. So anyway, I qualified as a grade 3 instructor at 43 Air School and started instructing with all the students. There were various students from Bristow Academy. We had a student contract, we had a police contract, so there was a lot of students and plenty of flying to be done. So, and then late in 2008, I qualified as a grade 2 instructor. Captain Nicholas Cook was very invaluable to me as a designated examiner. So really thank him for everything that he taught me as well and showed to me. And yeah, and then from there, basically, I met up with a gentleman by the name of Roux, who basically, he was at another flying school in Port Elizabeth, but he landed it very close to 43 Air School because the wind was blowing quite high, and with the amount of fuel that he had in his helicopter, I don't think he was going to make it, so he just needed a little bit of a top up to reach his destination. So he came through, I don't know if he hitchhiked with jerry cans, he came through asking for fuel at 42, and he was on a 6 weeks on, 6 weeks off rotation in Kabul, Afghanistan. And I didn't know this guy from a borrow, so the managers at 43 didn't really want to give him gas because it didn't have any DP certification with regard to that there's no contaminants in these jerry cans. So the fuel data, and I mean, Harvey said he's going to pay the bill if this ever comes back to me. I'm a very, very close friend of mine at the moment. But basically, I went behind the managers and I basically just fueled these little jerry cans, sent him on his way, and I wrote it off on one of the helicopters, basically. And 2 weeks later, with helping someone like that, I got up to the job to go to Kabul, Afghanistan. And I had about maybe 4 months to go on my contract to pay back the helicopter rating of 42 years. So I just jumped in. And, you know, I really have my wife to thank for everything that I've done in my aviation career, because I kept that a secret from having a 10-month-old baby who she basically packed up everything for Victoria and moved out. And when I got everything confirmed with Kabul, Afghanistan, with Balmoral, we're applying a Bell 412. Yeah, then basically from there, yeah, it was about another month after the job that I went there. So yeah, I don't want to be too long-winded in my whole everything that I'm explaining, but just once again, it was right place, right time, with enthusiasm, with the right attitude that people are looking for in the aviation companies. So I went there as a co-pilot, Bell 412, straight from Bell 206's Robinson 44, Robinson 22 helicopters, and very, very blessed in what, you know, the people that I flew with and the captains and that, and learning from them as well, and what they were trying to teach me as well, having known nothing about multi-engine really. I was in Kabul, Afghanistan for about a year and 9 months. That contract with Balmoral, under the Aircraft Charter Solutions umbrella, with a whole lot of companies underneath, with Titan helicopters and Balmoral, where they operate a fixed wing, Beech 1900s, and the Bell 412s, and then Abu Dhabi Aviation basically did like a wet lease of the helicopter with the captain, and that was a helicopter that I flew with. That was a brilliant experience, a brilliant exposure. And then when that contract came to an end in Kabul, I went and I managed to get into Abu Dhabi Aviation as a co-pilot for helicopter offshore. I was with them for about 2.5 years. built up a lot of experience, learned a lot. Flew with very experienced pilots that came from the Vietnam War area, and a whole bunch of other guys that had bush flying, long line. So you pick up so many tips of the versatility of what helicopters can actually do. Not that I've experienced myself, but definitely gleaned off a lot of the experience while I was there. I loved it. And then, once again, Harvey Green came into the picture again, telling me that for co-pilots they were offering full-time positions in Falcon Aviation Services, which was the competitor to Abu Dhabi Aviation. It's a privately owned company, but they were offering the co-pilot a full-time package to bring their families and children up, and they would pay for housing and schooling. So financially, this worked at the time in 2015 for me. I moved my whole family up in the March of 2015. Built my way up in the company by 2017, 2018, I was then upgraded as captain. And then as the seniority just fell into place for me, that I was next in line in place to get the 189 rating in Italy. And it was quite a transition to go from steam-driven gauges to glass cockpits, and also the amount of weight. It was a super medium helicopter, 19 passengers, and I was super blessed in order to be able to finish off my last sort of 4 or 5 years in that company as captain, learning so much experience. Basically, that's my road now. And then I'm going to go to Saudi Aramco with the AW139. I'm doing my rating in November in America, in Lafayette. So I'm very, very excited and grateful for my position now in this whole situation where I am in the industry, because I'm still learning so much. Some things, just a few key points of what I've learned. I'm just going to basically finish off, is that if you could just take the knowledge that needs to be sort of learned over the years, it's going to be hugely intimidating for you starting as a new pilot in the industry, and you've got so much information to try and absorb in a short amount of time. So take a breath. Rome wasn't built in a day, and just keep trying to have that self-awareness in order to know where your mistakes are, and admit to yourself where your mistakes are, and then just learn from it and utilize it as building blocks for your knowledge. Your skill will adapt, your anticipation for things, whether whatever will adapt if you get yourself into good habits or do things. If you communicate well, because in the industry there's a huge diverse of culture and different personalities you're going to deal with, and just trying to attain a very, very good attitude of being very ground-based that allows you to basically fly. That's what I've done with a lot of gratefulness, being blessed, always remembering my humble beginnings. So I hope you guys, I hope I can basically give you guys something that you can walk away with today. But that's about me, David. I don't know if there's any other questions or anything that anybody would like to ask.
Thank you very much, Brad. Has anyone got any questions for Brad? We've got one.
Did you fly with Roger Thomas in Canada?
Did you ever fly with Roger Thomas in Kandahar?
Sorry, Thomas Fields.
Roger Thomas.
Roger Thomas, yes, I know him well. Yes, he was one of the safety representatives there. Yes, I do know Roger Thomas.
Awesome.
My dad.
Oh, is that your dad? Okay, well, we've got Roger Thomas's daughter here asking the question today.
No way. Well, please send my regards. I'm sure you'll remember me.
Excellent. We've sent her a photo of you. Him a photo of you.
Yeah, very, very key gentleman. I actually enjoy spending time with Roger. I know Roger well.
Fantastic. I think the message from Bradley here is that, there's no clear path of how to do this. There's no one way to do this. There's no, A, B, C cookie cutter type approach. You got to really like get in there, hustle hard, try different things. I mean, what got it for me for Bradley was when reading his story, he said, no, he put together that business plan and approached 43 and worked out a way that they would be able to facilitate him and his training, even though like using his fixed wing hours and all that kind of stuff. And I just love that kind of thinking of, approaching the establishment and saying, okay, cool, you guys doing it this way, but, have we thought about doing it this way that I can benefit and that you can benefit as well? That sort of collaborative thinking I think is very important, and that's what I really liked about the way that Bradley came across in his in our initial discussions when we started doing this. So, I think that's the message. Is that right, Brad? Have I summed it up okay for you, for them?
100%. Yes, 100%. Thank you, David. Yes, that's perfect.
All right. If anyone has any more questions for Brad, we will post. If anyone has any more questions now, anyone? Not right now. But, Brad, we'll share your details out. And so if there are any young pilots here or new pilots that want to get in touch with you and just like hear a little bit more about your story and maybe get some more tips, can we put them in touch with you?
Yes, please share my number as you wish. It's no problem. I'm always willing to help and give any information that can help anybody.
Excellent. If there's anything a pilot likes doing more than flying, it's talking about flying. So get in touch. Okay. All right. All right, Brad, thank you very much. Can we have a round of applause for Brad coming in? Excellent, Brad. We're going to switch you back over to YouTube, hey?
Yeah, that's not a problem. Okay, thank you very much, guys.
Cheers then. Thanks, Brad. Okay. Bye. Right. So that was Bradley van der Merwe. I hope everyone heard something there. Before we get to the next one, I'm going to give away 2 of these hats. All right? And one question I'm going to have, it's a question and it's the fastest finger first, is going to be from Tamryn's talk. And one question is going to be from Brad's talk that just happened now. Okay? So the first question, and I'm going to give it to you, have to give put your hand up and I'm going to select you, and if you've got the right answer, you win the hat. Okay? If you get it wrong, I'm going to move to the next person. Okay? Question, in Tamryn's talk, John Bassie came to Palabora and did some work in a helicopter. What type of helicopter did he bring? Rob? Bell 206, correct. Right, Rob, well done. There's your prize. Congratulations. All right, and the second question is from Brad's talk. Brad mentioned that when he was it Falcon Aviation? I had it wrong. It was Falcon Aviation, and he got upgraded to captain, and then he got upgraded to line captain of a certain helicopter. It was the Augusta 189. How many seats does a Augusta 189 have in it? No, Rob. Jen? 19 seats is absolutely the right answer. So congratulations for winning the cap. All right. Okay. Next up, we have a fantastic speaker that has came online with us quite recently. We weren't actually planning to have Karen Matthews come on, but she did, and it absolutely made an awesome wave of interest that everyone was very excited to hear from her. So it did wonders on the social media. I can just tell you that, Karen. We put your face out there, and lots of people subscribed all of a sudden. So we're very happy to have Karen. I think we're going to be educated here. And Karen, without further ado, your audience awaits you. Everybody, round of applause. Yes. Oh, right, of course. Sorry. Okay, can I clip it on you?
Yes. Careful.
Yeah. We're in public here. Hold on. Okay, here we go.
Good afternoon, everybody. I got such a nice introduction, So I'm not really going to talk that much about myself, apart from the fact that some of you might have heard me on frequency in the control tower. I am the one that brings order when things go wrong, apparently, so I've been told. My name is Karen Matthews. I am air traffic controller. I've got a couple of disciplines that I'm qualified in. Air traffic control, approach procedural control. I'm also an on-the-job training instructor. I have got a special events, that's your air show rating, and enjoying that quite a bit. And then I'm also a designated examiner for the CAA for air traffic control. So my career started many moons ago, so I've got about 25 years experience as air traffic controller, and you guys have been privileged to have me for the last 10 years at Wonderboom. So I would like to wish you a warm welcome, or extend a warm welcome. I've got a little bit of notes because I like to do it right. So this is a safety seminar. Today I would like to focus on the aspect of enhancing operations at an airport between helicopters and fixed wings, with the particular topic of preventing runway incursions. So can I just hear from the audience, who knows what a runway incursion is? Anybody? Any takers? I will enlighten you shortly. So the purpose of this briefing is to raise awareness for the unique challenges that helicopters face when they are mixed with fixed wings in one airspace. So I'm going to give you a guide on how to mitigate this risk associated effectively. So the importance of runway safety at any aerodrome is basically the increase of helicopter traffic increase the risk of a runway incursion at Wonderboom. So throughout my speech, I'm going to refer to Wonderboom because you guys operate from Wonderboom, but mostly the rules applicable are basically for any airport. So the increased helicopter activity at Wonderboom, we've got a couple of helicopter flying training schools. We have got Medivacs, we've got the police helicopter, we've got the occasional car track, and then just your recreational guys that also operate from the airport. Mixed over a weekend, see plenty of helicopters in the air. And that increases the risk of runway safety because of the mix with the fixed wings. So it's of paramount importance for us to focus on runway safety because an incident or a runway incursion, fixed wing or helicopter, will have severe consequences for fixed wing and rotor wing aircraft. So to get back to the question, what is a runway incursion? Runway incursion occurs when an unauthorized vehicle, helicopter, or a fixed wing, or a pedestrian enters the runway protected area. So, without authorization. A runway incursion can occur from miscommunication, pilot error, ATC error, and then an intrusion of a vehicle or a pedestrian on the runway. So the challenges that helicopters specifically face when operating in close proximity to runways is the lower altitudes that helicopters operate at. The lower altitude makes them more susceptible to runway incursions because the low altitudes could mean that there's an obstruction in the way. Hangars, trees. You get airborne, there's a hangar or a tree in the way, and your view of the full runway is obscured. So that is hand in hand with the mix of fixed-wing traffic at an airport, makes it quite challenging. So let's discuss some key best practices that you guys can utilize. I'm going to highlight a few, and we can afterwards open the floor and we can discuss maybe more ideas. But some of the best key practices to enhance and prevent runway incursions for helicopters starts with your pre-flight planning. And the pre-flight planning, you to review your aerodrome charts. It is published, it's in the AIP. Make sure what the runways are at any particular aerodrome that you're going to fly to. Make sure, especially if there's cross-runway operations or multiple runways, that you are sure what direction the one runway and the other runway is and where you're going to get airborne from. Make sure where the designated helipads are. Make sure that you are familiar with the procedures that is published specific for that runway. And then communicate with air traffic control. Make sure you understand what the active runway is and any specific procedures that is applicable to that runway. So, effective communication. Maintain clear and concise communication with ATC. Use standard phraseology. Now, when I do the radio lectures, or when we used to, I always emphasize how important standard phraseology is. Now, chopper pilots are dead scared to talk on the frequency. I've never seen people so scared to file a flight plan and to talk on the radio. So proper phraseology is very important. Then at night operations, make sure that your aircraft's lights are clear and visible. At night operations and during low visibility procedures or low visibility conditions. And then visual scanning. You have to continuously scan what is happening around you. Make sure that there is, you know where the fixed wings are, where the vehicles are, if there's pedestrians. And also be aware if your helicopter has got a blind spot, that you maneuver so that you can mitigate that risk to look for other conflicting traffic. Also, compliance with ATC instructions, very important. Always follow ATC instructions and seek clarification if any part of the message is unclear. Then there's non-movement areas. I'm going to use Wonderboom again as an example. What is happening out here today? We have got the parachute jumping zone that is active. That becomes a no-fly zone over a weekend. So if there's any published no-fly zone at an aerodrome, you need to be aware of that. That comes part of your pre-flight planning. So at Wonderboom, east of runway 06, there is this parachute jumping zone over a weekend, and when it's active sometimes in the week, it's a no-fly zone. There is a particular procedure in place for Wonderboom that you allow to fly. Somebody came in with a chopper earlier. Clear of the drop zone is basically south of the Zambezi Road along the reach if you're going towards the east. There is an agreement in place that the helicopters might fly over a weekend circuits, but there's a specific circuit for it, which is Zambezi and then east of the Dr. Swanepoel, and then basically approaching over taxiway Bravo, taking you clear of the drop zone. I always look at it from the tower, and I see a parachute jump, and I go like, I'm not going to look because it looks just too scary. So, and then stay abreast with best practices. Educate yourself. You're here today, and it's fantastic to see that people actually come and want to be educated with recurrent training. Then encourage your colleagues also to be vigilant and safety conscious when you're operating in the vicinity of a runway or where there's mixed aircraft type at an airport. So let's talk quickly about a typical air traffic control clearance. So a clearance is designed to ensure safe and efficient operations between helicopter and fixed wing in the circuit or at the aerodrome, and it is designed to minimize the risk of a runway incursion and conflict between helicopters and fixed wing. The specifics of a clearance can vary, but it always has got the following elements in it, starting with your call sign. So the clearance will always start with your call sign, which is used as your identification, and the helicopter needs to read it back. Fixed wings also need to read this. It's a form of identification. So if you acknowledge your call sign, it needs, ATC understands that we are talking to you. We're not talking to any other helicopter. So your instructions for movement is part and parcel of ATC clearance. There will be a specific instruction to the helicopter operating near a runway. It will include where you are allowed to move, and it could include a takeoff clearance or a landing clearance or a holding position. It will be included in the ATC clearance. The runway designation, in other words, runway 29 or runway 06, will always be in the air traffic control clearance. And you need to read it back. That is always very important, so that ATC understands that you are aware of what runway is in use. Particularly at Wonderboom, we've got multiple runways. Over a weekend, it even gets worse because the parajumper gets airborne on runway 06, lands on 24, and the rest all go on 29. So we've got 3 runways, and it's just going like this and that. So your holding position, hold short of or remain to the west of runway 06, because the parajumpers is east of 06. So you will get all this remaining to the west of runway 06, but south of runway 29, and don't do this and don't do that. It's actually not that complicated. If you do your pre-flight planning and you are aware, oh, okay, it's weekend, I'm not going to go east of 06, but I'm also not going to go crossing runway 29 without an ATC clearance. So your holding position must be read back in your clearance that ATC provides you. Then, if a helicopter needs to cross a runway, there will be a specific clearance to cross the runway with the runway designation in it. And if there is conflicting traffic, that will also be included in this clearance. So traffic advisory will be in this clearance. For instance, or for example, do you have the traffic doing a touch and go on the runway in sight? You need to answer one or two, A, firm, or looking for the traffic. And then when you get the traffic in sight, ATC will instruct you to cross behind that traffic. So your read back needs to, we will say behind the traffic, cross behind, because we emphasize the behind and we can't say behind enough, but you only need to read back at least one behind so that we know you're going to cross behind the traffic. Otherwise, it is a runway incursion if you cross in front. Okay, so then there will be a clearance limit. A clearance limit can be an altitude restriction. It can be a speed restriction. And then, of course, your compulsory reporting points will be worked into this restriction. Typically, when you depart to go to GF1 from Wonderboom, your clearance limit is 4,600 feet. The fixed wings is at 5,100 feet, so you're going to go underneath the fixed wing circuit and you're going to be separated by 500 feet. That is to ensure safe separation between helicopters and the fixed wing in the circuit. Because the circuit is that way, when you go along the ridge, you will get a different clearance. But yeah, that clearance limit will definitely be worked in to your ATC clearance. Then there's frequency change, also be built into a clearance. Frequency change happens when you transit from one airspace to another. At Wonderboom, we've got quite a few. So if you depart towards the west, your frequency change, you're going into special rules to the west, frequency, 125.8. Pretoria GF1, GF2, 124.4. Special rules to the east, 125.4. And then along the Richards Waterkloof airspace, you are allowed to fly through Waterkloof airspace. You just need to get a clearance, and remember that it's not uncontrolled airspace, it is controlled airspace. Obviously, it is essential for a proper readback. So the critical parts, the safety elements, like hold short, that needs, and your crossing clearance, that is very critical. That needs to be read back as you receive it, almost verbatim. As the air traffic control says it to you, you need to read it back. So let's look at the elements again. Call sign, where you're allowed to move, if you need to hold short, or if you're cleared to cross, followed by your altitude restriction, the QNH, and your next reporting point. So that's the 7 elements of an air traffic control clearance. The helicopters, the fixed wings have got the most probably a little bit of an advantage because they can still dot down QNH and runway and use you. I think your hands are a little bit busy. Don't know how we're going to write. So the preparation before your flight becomes very important. Practice before the time, know what to expect, then it makes it all easier. And it sounds very frightening in the beginning, but you will get it right eventually. So the primary goal of an ATC clearance is to enhance safety and for efficient airport operations. Listen carefully, ask if you don't understand, seek clarification, but make sure that you understood correctly what the ATC requires from you. So in conclusion, runway safety and the prevention of runway incursions are a vital concern to all of us in the industry. By following the best practices I've mentioned and fostering a culture of safety and vigilance, we can significantly reduce the risk associated to runway operations. Your commitment to safety and your continuous efforts to keep yourself abreast with the best practices is essential for us to achieve our shared goal of reducing incidents and accidents on runways and runway incursions particularly. I thank you for your attention, and I wish you all a safe flight. I can open the floor if there's anybody that needs clarification on anything or just want to make a comment. No nasty comments. Any questions? Nothing? Thank you very much. Oh, you just pick it.
Thank you, Corinne. Thank you very much, Corinne. Absolute pleasure to hear from you. And yeah, I think everyone here learned something. And if you do have more questions about the ATC and all that kind of stuff, Corinne is here, so stick around. And if you don't hesitate to chat to Corinne. You got a question? Oh, sorry. Go for it, Tamryn.
getting a chance to talk on the radio. And I find there's a lot of unnecessary talk on the radio from the pilot side, And as a flight school here, what we try to do, obviously, is refine that talk on the radio down to an absolute minimum. There's, as you say, there's a specific structure and a specific sequence in terms of how a radio call is supposed to be done. And, one can actually cut out a lot of unnecessary in-between talk there. Let's just wait for 5 seconds. Yeah. So, I'll give you an example. Air traffic controller gives you a specific instruction. One could either read back that instruction in such a way, like this is a helicopter, so and so, your call sign, and I can taxi to the helipads, and I must remain south of the runway, and I must remain west of runway 24, and I must do this, and I must do that, and I will call you. That radio call is so long at the end of the day with so much unnecessary information in there. One could refine that radio call to take a few seconds if you just cut out the unnecessary bits and only repeat the necessary bits. Not making full sentences at the end of the day, if I can put it that way. As you say, repeating things like where do you need to remain south or west of, or where do you need to call next, and simply state that information rather than the full sentence at the end of the day. I don't know from your side, I don't know if you experience the same thing, but for us, it's
Yeah. Yes. One of the controllers that will clearly for your service will be talking to you. Because I feel your pain. So at the end of the day, I think there is absolute merit in what you're saying. Runway QNH, unfortunately, it is a long-winded because we got pressure from the CAA, especially with regards to runway incursions, but you didn't tell him to remain to the south. So if I tell you, lift at your discretion, report at helipad 1, I didn't clear you to cross. So I tend to do that to reduce the RT. But for the rest, we try to cut down, and it's also when I'm air traffic control instructing, I pattern my students, you are using too many words. There's an easier way to say this. So shortened RT, if you guys can come up with anything that will be able to assist you. I know there's another helicopter operator at the airport that says he wants to live on ground. I go like, no, you can't on ground frequency. I go like, no, you can't live on ground frequency. Airborne traffic needs to be on the tower frequency. And I really feel, because I don't know if you have noticed lately how poor the RT is. It is, I sometimes ask, is there an instructor on board? Because they just let the student talk unnecessary and waffle on the RT, and then sometimes I think maybe an instructor fainted or died, or because he's just not helping the student. So I think if we can educate, and that's why I'm here, starting with everybody at ground level, because the days are gone where we would stand in front of the classroom and give a proper lecture. They send students home with a book, and then you must go and work out your own method of what you're going to say. The books are there, but it's not as comprehensive. So as a safety initiative, I think more of these seminars, and then we can elaborate on RT. What to say, what not to say. So that is most probably something that we can consider for the future. More safety seminars specifically with regards to RT. That will be my suggestion. Done. That's it.
Great. Any more questions for Corin? Okay, with that, I think we will take a 5-minute break for everybody. Grab something to drink, please hydrate. I know it's very hot in here. And take a comfort break if you need it. And if you have any questions that you want to know from any of the speakers so far, don't hesitate to track them down. Okay, that's it. We'll see you guys back here in about 5 of your continued attention. Our next speaker is Genevieve King, who is an accomplished helicopter pilot, also one of the youngest PPL and commercial pilots qualified in this country. And I'm hoping to everyone online and everyone here just to be completely inspired that young female pilots are here and they're ready to do it in the Anyway, they're ready to make a fantastic career out of helicopter flying, and you can too if you're a young female pilot. Genevieve, take it away. Wait. Yeah, should work. Okay.
Okay, hi everyone, my name is Genevieve King. As Dave says, I'm 20 years old and I'm a commercial helicopter pilot. My very first memory of flying a helicopter was when I was about 7 years old. From then on, I have always wanted to fly helicopters. Fast track about a decade, I met a like-minded person in school who wanted to pursue his dream of flying. We arranged a session on an aeroplane simulator, but as my helicopter pilots can agree, a fixed wing is just not a helicopter. So I went for my first intro flight at 15. Stepping out the helicopter, beaming from ear to ear, I knew that this is what I wanted to do. I was awarded my private pilot license at 17, which was at the start of my matric year. It was certainly a lot of hard work, but completely worth it. I wrote flying exams in between school exams, and instead of relaxing over the December holiday, I was studying my Principles of Flying textbook. But not many people are able to say they can drive a car. Not many people can say they're able to fly a helicopter before they can drive a car. Completing my private pilot license definitely taught me a lot of discipline, as well as how to manage social life with school life and flying. The aviation journey can be a very lonely one at first, but as you start getting more involved, like attending events such as these, you realize just how closely knit it is. Everyone seems to know everyone, and most people are willing to lend you a helping hand when you need it. During my training journey, I flew with 4 different instructors, each with their own unique style. I found it difficult to switch between them at first, but looking back, although some of their teaching techniques scared me, everything got me to where I am today. Some instructors are afraid to teach you the machine's limits, while other more experienced instructors show you what the helicopter is capable of. This helps you to learn the machine's limits as well as learning your own, making you a safer pilot. Everyone has a different walk of life. It doesn't matter how long it takes you to go solo or how long it takes you to write your first exam, it's a journey that counts. My boyfriend, a fixed-wing pilot, went solo at 12 hours. It took me 46. But we all know airplanes are easier to fly, don't we? Some people can read through a textbook once and get 100%. I take a solid week to get 80%. It doesn't mean you're any less of a pilot. It just means we all have different strengths and weaknesses. Some people fail exams and some people don't. If you fail an exam, it is okay. I know it feels like the world is going to end, but you will be fine. I failed my private pilot license meteorology exam and was devastated and thought I wasn't cut out to be a pilot. But I somehow built up the courage to rewrite and pass the next time. Commercial pilot license meteorology was a whole new level, and my mental block from PPL unfortunately got the best of me. I failed it again, but with the help of a chocolate milkshake, a week of intense ground school, and my family, I got through it. It's honestly the luck of the questions. In my commercial pilot license exam, I had 7 questions which I had no clue how to answer, so I asked my instructor who lectures the airline transport pilot license, and she couldn't even answer them. While finishing my private pilot license, I got the opportunity to join my flight school on their training trips to the Drakensberg, Delstrom, and Wild Coast. I think they're pretty similar to the ones 360 does. I learned so much from finding my limitations to believing in myself and seeing what you learn actually applies in real life. At the Wild Coast, I saw how sea level affected power and airspeed compared to operating at 10,000 foot in the Drakensberg. I also learned how to do beach landings. The techniques and principles I were taught were invaluable. One of my favorite memories was winning the Heli Olympics for the student and private pilot category. You know you can hover when you're able to open a beer bottle using the helicopter skids. Have fun and enjoy the guppy turns along the way. Through all the challenging times, I made sure to persevere by reminding myself about the joy and love I have for flying. When negativity gets to you, lean on your friends and family. After finishing matric, I then pursued my commercial pilot license, qualifying by 19. I was very lucky to be offered a job with a security company in Midrand. You never know when or who you're going to meet who will change your life. I lent my study file to a pilot I met at a CAA, and he put in a very good word for me when it came to looking for my first job. Throughout my aviation journey, I have seen how everything seems to happen for a reason, and just remember to keep on being you and trust the process. The biggest thing I have learned this year is that knowledge is power. Know your machine, know the weather, know the terrain, know your standard operating procedures, know yourself and your limitations. This all helps build a better, all-rounded pilot. Just before I qualified as a commercial pilot, I was made fun of for planning as much as I do. My instructor at the time said I was best suited for an airline environment. I really was not happy to hear that. I was embarrassed and unsure of myself, but after starting my job, my boss heard about it and said, "You plan always." Who cares what people think? If planning makes you happier, more comfortable, a safer pilot, that's all that matters. Never let anyone push you past your limits. Stand your ground. Don't allow yourself to be bullied by your instructor, boss, or anyone else. I also learned the I'm Safe checklist. When learning how to fly, everybody tells you to check the helicopter. No one explains to you to check you. Are you okay to do this flight? Always keeping in mind that planning does not mean committing. It means having alternatives and having an out. Can I do a go-around? Helicopter flying is always about options. Having a different plan will make you feel in control when your first attempt does not work the way you had hoped. This reduces your stress, making sure you are safe. As a newly qualified pilot, I know how overwhelming everything can be. It feels like you should know everything and shouldn't ask for help, but that's not the case at all. Asking for help does not make you less of a pilot. It helps build your knowledge, making you a safer pilot. If on a pre-flight you see something you don't know and is not normal, ask your senior pilot instructor or even your aircraft engineer. If you're in the air and something gives you that gut feeling or you don't understand the instructions, ask your air traffic controller for assistance. I know they are scary, but they are there to help. Learn and process, and the next time you will know what to do. And I'm pretty sure they'll shout at you if you're not doing the right thing as well. Being a good pilot does not mean only flying helicopters. It has a lot to do with airmanship as well. Treat other aviators the way you would like to be treated. If you see other aircraft, let them know you have them visual and let them know your intentions so you can avoid each other. Never assume they know where you are. Always be safe than sorry. Also, don't make fun of people over the radio. I had that happen to me about 2 weeks ago. An aircraft mocked my voice over frequency. I know I sound really, really young, but what was the point? Plus, having an easily identifiable voice is really cool sometimes, like when Craig, one of OR Tambo's ATCs, greets me by name. Always be considerate. Flying certainly has its challenges as a young female pilot in a male-dominated industry. For example, having to fly with sandbags because you're too light, not having a flight suit fit you properly because it's designed for men, and getting nervous looks when passengers see that I am their pilot. A girl can do anything a man can do, but with added finesse, hence the pink flight suit. Thank you.
Brilliant presentation. Thank you very much, Jen.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions for Jen and her journey? We've got a question from Tamryn.
Can I put my flight suit?
Yeah. Okay, I'm glad that Jen didn't pass out from the heat. Okay.
So this is what the I'm Safe checklist looks like.
I'll hold
Just
it.
talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hold it.
Everybody see it? Jen? Yeah. All right. So what does it say? the I over there stands for illness. Do you have any kind of illness? And this includes flu. Many people think, having the sniffles or whatever, what is that at the end of the day? Right? But it does affect your thinking at the end of the day as well. So the last person to make the call as to whether or not you're going to get in that aircraft and go and fly that aircraft is you. You're the person that needs to analyze yourself and see if you're actually fit to fly that aircraft on that day, okay? Regardless of what happened the previous day. So a thing as simple as the flu, if you feel like it's going to affect your judgment in any way, if you have to take any kind of medication for whatever illness that you may have that could affect your judgment, do not go and get in that aircraft and go and fly. The next one is medication. Ties in with illness, right? Stress. Stress is a silent killer, and a lot of us are feeling it, especially now. We talk about COVID a lot. We talk about the implications that COVID has had on all sorts of industries, especially ours in aviation. We were just talking about it a little bit earlier today. Stress is a really big thing, and can also impair your judgment and your thinking at the end of the day. So if you feel like you're under stress, a lot of stress, and you feel like it could be a potential hazard for you in the aircraft, don't get in that aircraft and go and fly. Alcohol. Have I been drinking within the last 8 to 24 hours? Yeah, helicopter pilots, stootgatte. Well, at the end of the day, the onus is on you to make sure that you are safe to get into that aircraft. Nobody's going to come and police you. But should something go wrong, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to check you. So at the end of the day also, you don't want to have on your conscience something as simple as getting to an aircraft where you know you've had a big night the previous night or whatever the case may be, regardless of your 8 hours bottle to throttle. If you don't feel 100%, and some of us, alcohol affects some of us worse than others, right? If you don't feel 100% and you feel like your judgment may just be slightly impaired, do not get in that aircraft and go and fly. It could cost somebody their life. Fatigue. Fatigue is something that is also, I feel, not discussed enough, especially among pilots that are commercial pilots. A lot of the organizations push the pilots to the max, especially nowadays with there being such a shortage, international shortage of pilots and engineers. I'm finding it with all the places where I go and help out with the flying as well. Pilots are under a lot of stress, so are the engineers. And fatigue is creeping in everywhere. And along with fatigue comes mistakes. So if you feel like fatigue is becoming a problem, do not get in the aircraft and go and fly. Eating. A simple thing like making sure that you've had something to eat, that you keep your sugar levels consistent throughout the day is also very, very important in terms of thinking and judgment and all of those things. So make sure that when you do come and fly a helicopter, that you have had enough to eat, that you've had enough water to drink, and stay hydrated, so that at the end of the day you do not get your judgment or let your judgment be impaired in any way whatsoever. So it's a very, very good point that you brought out there with the I'm Safe checklist.
Because my flight school didn't teach me that. Most flight schools don't teach you that. I don't think Aviatech shows a fixed wing. No one teaches you that I'm safe until you're in.
That's right.
Well, until my chief pilot did the briefing and until you read the instructor's books. Otherwise,
exactly. It is as
covered.
you say. We are taught to check the aircraft every time. Check it thoroughly. Check it very well. But have you checked yourself? And that's just as important.
But like even with the checking the aircraft, I know proper commercial pilots flying in machines that are not safe because they have to. They know it's not right, but they have to. So like my boss says, but if anything happens, it's not like the operator's going to get in trouble, it's you.
Yeah. At the end of the day, what does the law say with regards to piloting command?
Everything lands on your shoulders.
Ultimately, you take full responsibility when you get in that aircraft and you fly it as pilot in command. So the onus lies on you. If that aircraft is deemed unsafe, or if you deem yourself unsafe, do not go and fly. It's as simple as that. And if your operator doesn't like it and your operator may show you a way, there will be operators out there that will see your worth in terms of having the backbone to make a decision like that when it's necessary to make. So don't let that put you off. Good one.
Thank you very much, Jen. We really appreciate you, and we'll look forward to the next one. Hey? Good job. And I'd also like to just extend a good thanks to Jen's mom and aunt, or cousin, sister, sorry, and Luke for accompanying and supporting Jen here today. So big round of applause to them, guys. All right. Okay, we are nearly done. It's just me that has to give you about a 45-minute talk. I hope everyone's okay with that. Not joking. But the fires are nearly ready. We're going to start the burries and we're going to get those rolls going. But yeah, I'd like to say thank you very much for being here today. And I would like very much to extend a thank you to our sponsors here today. And Mr. Rob Jonkers, chairman of the Aero Club of South Africa, phoned me yesterday and said, listen, we really commend what you guys are doing out there. High five for myself. And he came on board as part of the Safety First Aviator initiative that the Aero Club spearheads. He is then come on board and sponsored us today. So the whole point of that is to just foster a safety mindset within the industry, and then at the same time to promote Aero Club. And I don't know if you guys know, but Aero Club is constantly hard at work preserving the right for us, our right to be able to just fly as and when we want to, with minimal regulation. I don't know if I said that right. They are preserving free flight in this country. And while anyone thinks that, you know, being able to get in your helicopter, call the tower, start up, and ask for permission to leave and go within a few minutes, maybe filing a flight plan or not, but that privilege is exactly that. It's a privilege, and it's not a privilege that every country in the world has. It's not a privilege that many countries in this world don't have, especially in Africa, South America, Asia, even some countries like Europe. The regulations to be able to fly are completely unsustainable, completely too onerous to even support any kind of general aviation industry. And we still in South Africa have a general aviation industry, and we have the Aero Club of South Africa to thank for that. So I'd like to give Rob Jonkers a big round of applause, please. They are constantly advocating in collaboration with the CAA, working together with them to try and minimize regulations, to try and make sure that free flight is still a possible thing in this country. So membership to the Aero Club is very important. I make sure that I'm a member of the Aero Club, even though I'm not a pilot. I know that the aviation industry serves me very well, and therefore I would like to contribute to it by being an Aero Club member. So if you have thought about becoming an Aero Club member and you haven't yet, you know what to do. It's $500 a year, I think. $540 a year because of VAT or the increases. But I mean, if you think about it, it's a totally menial cost, and I would really recommend that you become a member to contribute towards the fact that we are still sustaining a fantastic general aviation industry in this country. So I think it's a huge privilege. So thanks again, Rob, for sponsoring an event like this today. Thank you very much. And then our other lead sponsor, well, let me get to the others first. We work with brands. It's actually part of my talk, and Pilotinsure comes to events like this or hosts events like this. We're on the Aero Club. We're Aero Club members. I am specifically on the SAPFA board, on the South African Power Flying Association board, which is an Aero Club ARO. I could get into that whole thing, but basically what that means is that we help arrange competitive flying events in the country. So another way that we want to we want to improve and increase the general aviation industry by getting more people into it, by creating opportunities and platforms that people can come along and be a part of it. So in doing all of that, we then say, okay, well, there are businesses that can benefit from being introduced to an aviation community, businesses that serve the aviation community and benefit from it. And such businesses are, and they've approached us to work more closely with us so that we can just help get their name out there so that they can do well in their business and at the same time serve the aviation community. Businesses like VSG, so Villa San Giovanni, the restaurant up here at the terminal building, they're working with us very closely to, we were helping to promote them. So if you haven't had a pizza of theirs recently, go and do it. They've got a very good gluten-free base as well. So if you're celiac disease or gluten intolerant or a banter like I am from time to time, they've got gluten-free pizzas up there. So go for it. Okay. And a very good coffee. Being the Italians that they are, they make absolutely brilliant coffee. We're also ambassadors for Aero. So the general aviation show that happens here, Aero approached us a couple of months back and said, listen, don't we want to just help promote that for them? And that's what we do. We want to make sure that Aero show grows. The more that show grows, the better for the general aviation community, the better for us, the better for you. So if you're considering exhibiting or just visiting the Aero Expo, chat to me and we can put you in touch if you would like to exhibit your business there. Okay, so those are some of the brands. Bona Bona is another one as well that we work with, and we give away prizes from them, and a fantastic airfield. We did one of the speed rallies there this year. It was a fantastic event. We coupled it with the big Bona Bona fly-in May this year. And what an awesome event. I think we had an over 60 aircraft visit, and we held the speed rally there, which was a fantastic success. And if you ever feel like you need to get out of just the cabbage patch over here and you've got a little bit of a cross country to do, head on over to Bona Bona. They've got great breakfast, a good runway, and even space for helicopters as well. So get in there. All right. All the advertising done. Pilotinsure. That is the company I work for. It's the passion that we have for the aviation industry. We want to make sure that pilots are correctly insured. Okay. We are full financial planners. So we look at your entire risk profile, your whole balance sheet, your whole investment profile, what it means to go from where you are now in your life to retirement and beyond. So I can literally figure out down to the cent how much money you will need between now and when you die, and every day in between. So I've got those financial calculators. I made them up myself, so I'm very good. Another high five. But I've checked them against all the right places and right people. And just so you know, I've got a very good idea of how to make sure that your finances are enough for after you retire and when you want to, and you need to look after yourself. So and saying all of that and all of those financial plans and all the investments that we do, we only focus on pilots. That's all we do. Okay, so all of that financial planning that we do always has the mindset of you as the pilot at the front of that. So what does this mean to invest offshore? How does it make you be able to afford more flying hours at a later stage, or buy a helicopter, or buy an airplane, whatever you want to do? We can build those plans of yours into your financial plan. And like I said, down to the cent, right up to when you make the purchase of that helicopter and beyond. But the name insurance, obviously, is in the name, Pilotinsure. A lot of people come to us and they ask us to insure their airplanes or their helicopters. It's in the name. Pilots only, okay? Leaving up the aircraft and helicopter insurance up to Vector Aviation. who is the broker on record for this business, 360 Aviation. So we insure pilots, and why is that so fundamental? Life insurance and disability cover for pilots is highly specialized. Okay? For normal people, like accountants, lawyers, doctors, whoever, it's quite an easy thing to get right. To be able to occupationally insure a doctor, okay, very easy. There's a lot of them. It's, we're able to, the underwriters understand it. They know how to do it, okay? And when it comes to a pilot, because the pilot pool, as an occupation, it's a much smaller pool of people. And therefore, there's not a lot of people that specialize in it, and there's not a lot of underwriters who understand it. So when they see an application come through and they say, pilot, now's when they are trying to start to figure it out and how to properly insure this pilot and that kind of stuff. And that's something that we have taken away for you guys. You guys, if you go to a broker and you say, listen, I need life insurance and I'm a pilot and this and that, and the underwriter doesn't understand what the broker's trying to say because the broker doesn't really understand you guys, and that's a struggle, and it ends up being that you have exclusions on your policy. Nay, Rudy? Rudy doesn't, I'm just saying, that's something that we uncovered, but you didn't even know, a lot of people don't even know that they've got flying exclusions on their policy. So whether they're insured with insurer X and they say, no, I'm insured for my life, and if I die, my wife and family are definitely going to get $1 million or $10 million to be able to look after themselves. But there's, at the bottom of that policy, it says, oh, except if you die in an aviation-related accident. And the owner of that policy, that pilot, that owner, that human didn't know it was there. So what happens if that had happened? Family is left with only what they've got. They have to sell what they've got to be able to survive. It's a bugger up. That person's contribution between now and when they retire, gone. Because they didn't read their policy. And yes, it's up to you guys. You guys are the PIC of your policy, 100%. But you need a proper instructor that is able to take you through your policy, find the pitfalls, and to be able to change that into something that will cover you in the event should the worst happen. That's where Pilotinsure comes from. Pilotinsure is seated in that exact thing. That's our core business. And Pilotinsure, it was founded by Franz Smit about almost 10 years ago. Franz Smit sits in Somerset West, and he started the business in Cape Town and got it well established there and brought it up to Joburg in 2016, and that's when I joined Franz Smit, and I joined the company, and I've been working there ever since. I came out of a short-term insurance background. In fact, the company that Vector is today used to be called Airborne Insurance, and that's where I spent almost 10 years of my life. So developing Julie I worked with for a couple of years, so shout out. But that's where I developed my passion and knowledge and love for aviation. And taking all of that knowledge and passion and transforming it into a financial planning capacity to be able to best serve the aviation community in that way. So if you're having doubts about your own policy and whether or not you've properly covered for aviation, please come and see me. I can help you reveal the pitfalls, and I can help you fix them. Okay. That's what I love to do. And it also pays me, so bonus. Yeah. Double high five. All right. There is lots of information about Pilotinsure. We're all over. Follow us on the socials, etc., etc. If you need to get hold of me, my business card is on the front table over there, or just come and chat to me. I'm here, okay? And that goes for you guys online as well. We'll share my details in the show notes of this live stream. So don't hesitate to get in touch. Make sure that you're solidly covered, that there's no worries when it comes to flying at all. Okay. Flate, May 30th, thank you very much for listening. All right. We're going to do the prize draw at 3 o'clock. We're going to also do some intro flights. Is that right? Yes? So if you are interested in doing an intro flight, please chat to Tamryn and Eloise now, if you haven't already registered your need for that. And so if you are, there will be intro flights going up in about half an hour or after the prize draw. Okay. All right, so I think let's take a quick break, have something to drink, and then we'll do the prize draw at exactly 3 o'clock. Is everyone okay with that? And the fire's already also almost ready, so the prize will get going. Tamryn, are you okay with that? Cool? Okay. Thank you very much.